Hey lovelies, welcome back to my channel Insights with Mugobe Liphadzi. You are most definitely welcome. If you're joining me for the first time, please do subscribe, like and comment down below. As you can see today, I am not alone. I am joined by Lerato Tawana. Thank you so much for coming to my channel.
Hello everyone, as she mentioned, I'm Lerato Tawana and thank you so much for having me on your show today.
I'm so excited. Anyways, we all know that death can be very devastating while the loss can never be replaced. People all over the world struggle to overcome the death and the grief of the loss of their loved ones. And today Lerato will be sharing with us her story of losing her parents and how she's been handling that thus far. Are you okay? Are you comfortable? Can we start?
I'm good. I'm alright.
Alright.
Let's do this.
Let's do this. Anyways, so Lerato, I want you to take us to when you were growing up as a little girl, having both parents. What was that like for you?
For me, having both my parents, I was very close to my dad. So life was very, you know, as a young child, you get everything and you don't really know what life is about. But being very young with both my parents is really very nice because, you know, I used to get everything that I wanted. All sweets, clothes, toys. I remember there used to be like a whole lot of like children in my yard because my mom would, I had like a very huge basket of toys and all these children will just come and play with me. And yeah, life was very nice with both my parents there.
Okay, so as you mentioned, life was very nice, and I assume you were that girl that had everything, right?
Yeah.
Like everything, you were comfortable. Life was going well for you.
I was comfortable.
Best schools.
Happy
everything.
child. My dad used to come fetch me. I used to go for swimming, gymnastics, all these activities. You know, weekends we had brides at home. We used to have people at home coming through. So it was very happy, joyous and peaceful life when I had both my parents.
Alright. So take me to when you first lost your dad. How old were you?
I was 7 years old when I lost my dad. I was in grade 1, I remember. It was towards the end of the year, actually. It was in December, right before Christmas. And what happened was my dad went to Botswana to go see his family. And I remember that morning when he left, I was like to him, but I want to go with you, because I was so close to him. Because I remember each time he'd come back from work, I'd actually run to the gate and open the gate for him. You know, even like at night having to go lock the gate, I'd go and he'd lift me up and I'd go on top of his shoulders and we'd go and lock the gate and stuff. So I was very, very close to my dad. And that morning when he left for Botswana, I cried so much. I was like, but I want to go with you, you know? And he was like, no, he'll be back. I used to do shopping with my dad. So all my dresses and stuff, I used to go shopping with my dad and we'd leave my mom at home. So when he left, he was like to me, don't cry. When I come back, we're going to go shopping. We're going to go Christmas shopping and I'm going to go buy you all the dresses that you want. So fun, you know, we said our goodbyes and he left. And then I remember I think it was a weekend. And I used to have this other friend that lived front opposite my house. And she used to come and play with me. And I had this, I don't know if you had the plastic chairs, you know the plastic chairs with the table? Yeah, I used to have that. And I remember that day, because my mom had told me that my dad is coming. I was playing with my friends at the gate with the gate open already for my dad to come through. And we were playing at the gate. You know, I waited and I kept on asking my mom, like, you know, when is my dad here? And my mom was just like, no, like, be patient, your dad will come, you know? So I continued playing with my friends. I was so excited. I had bathed. I was like, yo, my dad said we're going shopping. So when he gets here, you know, I must be clean. You know, I must be clean so we can go shopping. As he promised, we'd go shopping for my clothes. Blazely telling my friends. I was so excited. And then it just got darker and darker. And I remember it was like late in the afternoon. And then my dad's family came in. I honestly didn't know what was happening and I was like, just like, you know, I'm waiting for my dad. I was so excited. They went into the house. I just greeted them, continued playing outside, and then they told one of my aunts told my friends to leave. So they left and I remember I went into the house and my mom was crying. and I didn't know why my mom was crying. And obviously, like, you know, I was just like, okay, why is mama crying? Like, where's my dad? And I remember my aunt, which was like my dad's sister. She took me to the other room, and yeah, she told me that my dad, like, you know, has passed on. Obviously, at a young stage, you don't really like fully understand, you know, what it's going or what's going on, what does this mean, and things like that. So for me, losing my dad, like, it wasn't too terrible, but only at a later stage as I was growing up, it became a bit of a challenge. So what I went through my dad's funeral, you know, I was sad, I was crying, but as a child I didn't fully understand what was happening. I only started fully understanding what had happened as I was growing up. When I now had to move to Carltonville and stay with my aunt, and my mom was just going through depression, and I couldn't get everything that I wanted to get. And you know, other children also, when they talk about their fathers, and I couldn't do the same. Yeah.
Alright, so what was it like seeing your mom losing your dad? How was that for you?
For me, it was very sad for me because, I mean, I was young, and seeing my mom cry all the time, and my father not being there, and us also not having a good relationship with my dad's family, that was really tough. Because, I mean, it got to a point where I wasn't even allowed to go to my dad's family, where I was told, you know, even if they come here to school and fetch you, you shouldn't go with them. I mean, they even went further and said, you know, my mom killed my dad. You know, those are the things that growing up, you know, what we used to hear after my dad passed on. I remember even my dad's tombstone, we never got a chance to go to the tombstone unveiling because we didn't even know about it. We just woke up one day, went to go check my dad's graveyard, and we just found a tombstone there. And yeah, it was really difficult for my mom, because imagine after you just lost your husband, and now the family saying that you know, you killed your own husband.
Yeah.
So it was really tough for my mom, and seeing her go through that, it was very sad. Yeah.
And I feel like that's the one thing that as black families, I don't know whether it happens with other races, but because I'm black I relate to that. As black families, if the husband or the wife dies, we tend to suspect the spouse first, which I don't think is fair, because, you know, your mom, I don't think she could do that. No one would want to lose their loved one and fall into depression right after that.
Yeah.
I mean, your dad was a big role and a big part of your life, and your mom wouldn't want to do that. I know that.
Yeah.
So I know no parent would want to put their child through that. So anyways, what was life like after losing your dad, and now you're moving on? How did you guys pick up the pace with your mom and everything?
So what happened is, in order to ease off the pressure of my mom, my siblings and I had to go stay with my aunt, and I lived with my aunt for grade 3, I think 5. Yeah, I lived with my aunt for 5 years until I completed my primary school, and then I started living with my mom again from high school. Although I was staying with my aunt, you know, I'd see my mom like every second weekend. So yeah, life was not the same anymore, because I mean, my mom was a single parent, and we couldn't get certain things that we wanted anymore. You couldn't get everything that you wanted anymore. And my mom would always tell us, you know, if I have the money and if I can, whatever it is that you want, I'll do it for you. But if I don't, you need to understand that I don't. And one thing I loved about my mom, and which is still one of the things that I actually apply to my own life right now, never ever compare yourself to other people. Because she used to say that, you guys know I'm a single parent, so don't go out there and compare yourself with other children. Don't compare yourself with, you know, the things that they have and what you don't have, because that will really steal your joy. Just know that as a parent, whatever it is that you need, you know, if I can, I'll do it. So I'll always do my best to provide what it is, whatever that you need. And if I can't, then I can't, and you'll have to accept it.
Sure. Okay. So I believe that you guys got to a point where you picked up the pace, and I don't think you really got over your dad's death, because I don't think you can fully get healed from that, right?
Yeah.
You just learn to live with
You learn to live
everything.
with it.
So yeah. So now later on, you lose your mom too. Please take us through that.
Whew. You know, losing my mom was one of the worst things that I believe ever happened and will ever happen to me in this life. Because after losing my dad, she was literally the only person that I believed that, you know, okay, this is my mom. I lost my dad, but you know, you're the one person that I still have. And I remember I used to tell my mom that, you know, I'm really gonna make you proud because of all the sacrifices that she made and her being strong for us. I was like, you know, I'm really gonna make you proud and work hard in this life so that, you know, I can make you happy. When I lost my mom, I felt like my whole world is ended and I've lost everything that I have. So it was really the worst experience that I think anyone could go through. I went through a point where at first when I heard that she passed on, I didn't believe it, because I was like, there's no way. I know my mom is a fighter. I know she's a very strong woman. She's been through a lot in this life and she's survived it. You know, there's no way that my mom passed on. I was like, I need to go home and actually witness for myself that she's actually really gone.
So can you please take us through the day when you first heard it, what had happened and what felt up to then?
Okay. So I remember the weekend before I heard my mom passed on, because I remember it was a Monday when I heard about the passing. So that weekend I was just down, like literally the whole weekend, and I was crying as well. And my friend like would come to my room and be like, what's wrong? And I'm like, I'm not feeling well. And for some reason I didn't even speak to my mom like that weekend. The whole weekend I never spoke to her, and I was that person who would speak every single day, you know, even about, like, she'd give me a call about the most random stuff or like a random joke. And that weekend I just never spoke to her. I was just in my room in the dark and I was just crying. I don't know what is happening to me. But then it got to Monday, and it was that Monday, that's when my test week was actually starting. And I had a whole lot of assignments due for the coming week. And, you know, I was actually going for a group meeting. So I was by the library side and meeting my group. And then I got a phone call from, we're not really like close family, but she is family. She's also one of my mom's cousins. So she called me and she says to me, Lerato, you need to come home. And I was like, what do you mean I need to come home? It's during my test week and you're telling me I must come home. I'm not coming home. So I'm busy telling my group members, I'm like, hey guys.
Imagine.
Like my mom's cousin is telling me to come home. Imagine it's test week,
so
we have assignments. Like, and I was home like recently. Like, how do I now just pack my things and go home? I'm like, this woman is crazy. But then and then she just hang up. Next thing I get a call from my aunt. My aunt is like, Lerato, you need to come home. I'm like, but aunt, I don't understand. Why should I go home? Like, it's test week. And as explained to, you know, my mom's cousin, I'm writing tests and I have assignments that are due, so there's no way I'm coming home. But it didn't like really click to me, like
something is wrong.
You know, something is wrong. I was in my head, I was just thinking, these people are crazy. Why do they want me to come home? I'm writing tests and it's my last year, so I need to pass. So fine. After that, my cousin called me, and when he called me, he's like, who are you with? I'm like, no, I'm with my friend. And my group members like, okay, please give your friend the phone. And then gave my friend the phone, and I don't know what they said to her. And then she just pulled me by the corner. I remember I was by student center at that moment, and she told me, she's like, friend, you need to go home. And I was like, but friend, I'm writing, like, and I have assignments. And she was like to me, no friend, like, your mom passed away, you know? I was like, what? I remember I started crying, and everyone, and I didn't even care. I was on the floor crying, And I couldn't believe it. I still tried to call my mom and her phone was not going through. And I was like, but this can't be real. Like, I refuse. I went through a moment of denial. I was like, this can't be happening. So I told my group members and they all walked me back to Rez. We all walked back to Rez. Didn't continue with the group meeting that we had to have. When I got to Rez, like, I was so chilled, eh? I got to Rez. I'm like, oh guys, you know what? I'm gonna send emails to all my lecturers that I won't be here for this coming week. I was even listening to Beyonce. I can't recall which Beyonce song I was listening to. But I was like in the mood. I was like so chilled, so calm. I was like even laughing in disbelief. I'm like, hey, guys, okay, let me just do these emails. Sent emails to my lecturers that I'm going home. And next thing, my cousin and my brother, they were like, no, they're on the way to come fetch me. I'm like, oh, okay. So they came. I think like I was just in my room just listening to music. They came in the afternoon and they came to fetch me. I packed my clothes and we were on the road. And I remember my big brother wasn't saying anything. And then like my cousin was also not saying anything. And I was just like, okay, like guys, are you like, what happened to mama? No one was telling me anything. Like, let's just go home. We'll find out when we get home. Was chilled over, got home. Now that's when reality actually kicked in. There were a lot of people at home. My little sister was there already, my little brother was there already. They were crying and yeah, my aunt was crying. Everyone was just crying. It was just a sad moment. For me, that's when reality really clicked in and said, so this is actually, really true. But at the back of my head, I still had a bit of denial in me that, you know what, I actually need to see my mom to actually, fully, like believe that, this had actually happened. So, yeah, I remember that night I never slept. I just spoke to my aunt and just asked her about the whole incident. And she told me, I was crying. And yeah, I actually didn't sleep. Yeah, I never slept. And that night I remember I was just like to God, why did this have to happen to me? Well, that, my mom was the only person that I had and she meant so much to me. Why did she give up? A part of me was also angry at my mom. I was like, Mama, you were such a strong woman. Like, how did you just get to the point where you just gave up like that? Because I know you're a fighter. I know, like you've went through so many things. How did you just give up on us like that? And yeah, I just got to a point where I was just like, it's just me, it's my siblings, and I need to be strong for them. Because my mom was so strong for us when we lost our dad, I'll now need to take up the role and be strong for my siblings and our future. I wasn't really close to God as well, but after losing my mom, I realized I started, just remembering all the things that she used to say to us. I remember she always used to say, pray. Before, when she was around, for me, Christianity was all about just going to church. And her passing actually brought me closer to God because that's when I actually started praying. And she also used to say, I'm going to say it in Tswana, I hope that's fine, which basically means that in life you don't feel sorry for yourself. So, it's such teachings that even like today, they still carry me. And in that situation, they actually, helped me. So yeah, it was really devastating, but through God and remembering all the things that my mom taught us and what she would have expected me to do and be towards my siblings or to the family, that kept me going.
All right, so you mentioned that you felt like your mother had given up. Was she sick or what happened? What type of battle was she fighting before her death?
The battle that my mom was fighting was being a single parent. That's the battle that she was fighting, because it's really not easy. There's a whole lot of stuff that my mom had to sacrifice, you know, and she'd have to put our happiness first before hers. So even going to university on her side, it was really a challenge. Like, she had to sacrifice so many things for me to be in varsity, for my siblings to be in school, you know, and still be able to do some of the things that we wanted to do. So it was a constant challenge, and I mean, her not having anyone to support her. So that was the battle that she went through. So how she passed on is that she got an accident. She was on her way to work in the morning, and apparently it was misty that morning, and there was a bus that collided with the car that they were in. So everyone in that car passed on. Yeah.
That must have been very devastating for you. I feel like if maybe a person dies out of sickness, I mean, I lost my cousin in 2017 and he was quite sick. So when he passed on, we were sort of okay because we knew how much he was struggling. And I feel like with your story, the most painful part is that it was so unexpected and it was just random. Nothing built up to that. So I feel like that is such a heartbreaking thing. And anyways, God has his way of doing things, and I'm glad that you said that God has sort of brought you closer to him through this experience. And what I want you to tell us is, right after that, after you've accepted the funeral has happened and you now know that your mother is really not here, what are the different stages that you went through during your healing?
So after the funeral happened, I think I was still a bit angry. I went through a period of anger where, you know, I was still angry at God that, you know, why did you take my mother? You know, how do you expect me to go through life right now? You know? And then as well, I was also so angry because at school I had missed like school for 2 weeks, and I got back to school and one of my lecturers was like, "You're getting note for this test, you know, it's not my fault that your mom passed away during test week." You know, some of my lecturers were lenient towards me and they just made me do like a presentation and they gave me marks based on the presentation. Even at race, like, people would avoid me. You know, if they'd hear my voice in the corridor and you hear that someone was actually coming out of their room, you know, they'd quickly go back into their room and close their door. So I was so angry. Although I had people there, like my friend and other people to like support me, it was also just so annoying that I just need to be alone. I need to be in my own space and deal with this. I had to go for counseling and I was like, what the hell is this? This is not going to bring back my mom. Do you think talking to me and me writing about things is actually going to bring her back? So that's the type of anger that I kind of went through. I also went through a stage where I actually was just like, you know, this life is not worth it, because I mean, how do I continue life without my mom? And I did get to a point where I was just like, I might as well just end my life. But then I was like, you know, Lerato, you can't be selfish. If you're ending your life, how do you expect your little sister and your little brother, who are also going through the same thing, you know, how do you expect them to go through life now? You just lost your mom and now you also want to leave, you know? So that's one of the things that actually got me to be like, you know what, you can't commit suicide. You need to, you know, stand up and be strong for your siblings and continue with life. Because if you don't, then you'll basically be disappointing your mom. And then I also went through a stage of not being emotional. I used to say that my heart has developed to be a rock because I had no emotion. Even if someone would tell me, oh, you know, someone passed on, I'd be like, oh, okay, whatever, it's just death, you know. So I lost that part of being sensitive and compassionate, you know. Until I was like, you know what? I need to look at, yes, my mom has gone, you know, I don't have parents. But as I said, my mom used to say, don't feel sorry for yourself in life. So that I just made the decision that I'm not going to feel sorry for myself, and I'm going to be strong for my siblings. Just like my mom fought for us, I'm also going to fight back and face life. And I believe that God will carry me, you know. And yeah, I think after going through the stage of fully accepting and deciding for myself that, you know, I have to be strong, that's when, yeah, life became a bit easier, because, you know, I was seeking strength from God, and that's what I got, and things were fine.
All right. So ever since I've known you, I've never heard you talk pity or self pity. I've never heard that from you. You know, like a lot of people like saying I'm an orphan, like Nikisiwana in Venda, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I've never heard you say anything like that, and that's what draws me so much to you, because I feel like you clothed with so much strength. So I feel like that is something so profound about you. You take on every responsibility, and you go about life without feeling sorry for yourself, which I now get that it's because your mother said don't feel sorry for yourself.
Yeah.
So I want you to tell us how has life been in terms of taking on your responsibilities, because now you had to be a sister and a mother to your...
Well, taking the responsibility of being a sister and a mother to my siblings is challenging, super challenging, can be very overwhelming at times. And you're just like, yo, God, I never asked for this. You know, people my age, you know, they're not going through this.
Yeah.
They're just enjoying their life, and, you know, they have their parents there to, you know, provide them with all the things that they need, or they don't even have to think about the problems that I am thinking about. So it's challenging, but I've learned to put my trust in the Lord and have faith that, you know what, when He said that I will never leave you nor forsake you, when He said that He will provide me with everything that I need, when He said that He has great plans for my life, plans to, you know, prosper me, He means what He says, and He's a God that keeps to His promises. So throughout all the various challenges that I go through, you know, I just trust God that, you know, He will provide. You know, He's done it before, He'll continuously keep doing it again. And through everything, God will continuously keep showing you His love and what He's capable of. There are times when I'm thinking, sure, where am I going to get money for this, you know? And the money comes.
Somehow.
The money comes somehow.
Yeah.
The money comes. Like, God always provides. There's never a time where I needed something, you know, something that's really important, and, you know, God never comes through for me. Like, some way, no matter what happens, it always happens. But yeah, God always makes a way. So I've just learned to fully, with whatever challenge, as He says, we must cast all our burdens unto Him. And through storms, we must just, you know, remain calm and peaceful. So when I go through situations, I just know that, God, this is what I need, and you know, You're a faithful God, and I know You'll provide. So yeah, I get through my things through prayer and through God and through trusting Him.
Yeah. God is indeed a father to the fatherless and a mother to the motherless. And I'm so proud of you. You are doing very well. So I'd like you to give advice to our viewers, anybody who's going through the same thing or something similar, or someone who might be yet to go through that. What would your advice be to them?
Okay. So most people think that loss is the end of life, and it isn't. When you go through any type of loss, be it with your parents, be it with a lover, be it with family or a close friend, one thing you should know is that God will always put you through things for a certain purpose. in my case, I believe that I lost my mom. Losing my mom was actually a way to get me closer to God and have a relationship with Him. So whatever it is that you go through, you must just know that God is your comforter, and whatever is happening now or whatever storm that you're going through, you know, you must just be still, be calm and peaceful through the storm, and know that He is God and He will keep to His promises. So just continue trusting in Him, continue seeking Him, because He will definitely give you comfort. He will heal your broken heart and your crushed spirit. So whatever loss that you go through, just know that God loves you and He will never fail you, and He'll continue showing His goodness and His mercy, grace and love upon your life. So whatever it is, just know that He is God and it is well through it all.
Oh my gosh, you're such an inspiration. You've been so strong. Continue being strong. You are loved and God has a plan for you. I believe that this story will comfort someone out there and someone will be able to relate. So we've come to the end of our interview, but before we close off, there's certain things that I'd like us to do. First of all, we have a questions box, and in here it's a bunch of random questions, and she's just gonna pick one question and answer it. So yeah.
Sure. What would you tell your 16-year-old self? Sure. What I tell to my 16-year-old self is to live life to the fullest. Be it whether it's a bad or a good moment, embrace it. If it's a bad moment or experience, choose to see the good out of it. And if it's a bad, if it's a good experience, you know, embrace it. That's what I tell to my 16-year-old self.
Alrighty. So I got you a gift.
I love gifts. You know.
So I just want to say thank you for coming to my channel with this gift. I mean, it's not something so big, but I just thought you would relate a lot to this because I know what you love.
Yeah.
You want to open it?
I'll use it for my tea.
I know you love tea. I know you are obsessed with tea. So I thought when she's going to work, her tea doesn't get cold.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And thank you so much for having me on your show as well.
Thank you for coming. I believe your story will be such an inspiration. And while ending it off, I'd like to read from 2 Corinthians 1:3-4, which says, "Praise be to God and the Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, the Father of compassion and the Lord God of all comfort." Verse 4, "Who comforts us in all troubles, so that we can comfort those in any trouble with the comfort we ourselves receive from God." And I believe that is what I was trying to do with your story. I hope that it comforts someone out there. And please don't forget to follow Lerato on Instagram. Her handle will be down below together with mine. Thank you so much for watching, and God bless.